People of the internet, Bert Kreischer just had to get surgery because he is an alcoholic, and he is incredibly delusional about it. So let's see what excuses Bert Kreischer makes for having his intestines removed, or part of them.
Yeah, we are back. We are in Los Angeles. We're doing Two Bears, One Cave. Everybody's dying to know, how do you feel after having 16 feet of your intestines removed?
Red. I feel really red today.
You do? That's crazy.
God, I'm red today. Like, I know I get shit for being red a lot.
Yes, yeah.
But man, I just got out of the sauna, just got out of the gym, and I am looking at myself in the mirror as I walked past.
Yeah.
Today's a rough one for me.
Well,
That's called you need to stop drinking. One of the main reasons alcoholics get red is because they are alcoholics. And you can see here, Bert Kreischer's trying to create some other narrative, trying to deny it. But it's okay. It's his own life. He can choose to be an alcoholic, but you should just admit it. But I guess that's what alcoholics don't do. And here we go. Bert Kreischer again. I'm red, and I'm red.
The thing about being red is, like, you can fight it or you can lean in. Like, what about getting redder?
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and just get so red that people go, they don't even notice anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like,
why fight it?
Good.
Yeah. Also, red's a good. I think you look good with red.
So the most recent episode of Two Bears, One Cave just dropped, and we finally get an update about the surgery Bert underwent. It turns out he had some digestive issues. Tom actually announced this during his episode with Mark Normand, and the cause was most likely related to Bert's alcohol consumption. Now, as much as Bert likes to blame the redness on the sauna, I think we all know the real reason he's red as a lobster is probably because he was drinking the night before. And
Could you imagine, like, just imagine this, that you drink so much and do it daily that you destroy the insides of your body so bad that you have to have 16 feet of your intestines removed. And get this, after you come out of surgery, you start drinking again. I just don't understand. There's like some things, that you do where you have like a big moment, like a defining moment in what you're doing, whatever kind of problem or activity or anything, right? That it could change you. And it's kind of like a warning sign, like, hey, get off. For me, I was doing like extreme sports, all kinds of stuff for filmmaking. And I had a moment, in my 30s where I almost died on the mountains because this bozo took us down this route that was incredibly dangerous, and we couldn't get out without having to climb down the side of a mountain, a cliff wall, right? And we ended up getting rescued from some people that drove 4x4s down this road, and then they came and found us. And that moment for me was like, look, I'm not young anymore. What I've been doing is incredibly dangerous. And this is the line, I got out of this unscathed. So I'm going to take this as an opportunity to be like, man, I had a lot of fun. I did a lot of crazy stuff. I saw a lot of crazy places. But it's time for a career switch. Now, you would think Bert Kreischer would be like, oh, they're literally taking parts of my insides out of me because I've destroyed them. And then you see him completely roasty red, and he's drinking again. It's absolutely insane.
if we're being honest with ourselves, the last time we saw Bert not looking red as a lobster was probably during the last Sober October he participated in, which, if I'm remembering correctly, was about a year ago. But the reason for this video isn't actually the unusual color of Bert's face, is the formula he uses to keep going even after all these years of the internet constantly shitting on him, and not just the internet but also his friends. How does he maintain the act and never really change?
Here's the crazy thing, right? Is hey, look, you could do whatever you want I mean, the internet's crazy. Everybody is trying to slam everybody. Everybody is morally justified, right? So I don't want to say that my word has any weight and I'm not a horrible, fucked up human too. The older I get, I look at all these people that say, oh, this, that, I'm right. This is the way of life. And I just realize humans are completely confused and stupid, including me. And we're all just trying to make ourselves look good when really we're all fucking stupid, right? But here's the thing. If I'm going to be on the internet, I will make fun of people just like people make fun of me. That's how it goes. But I think despite all that, it's really, really incredibly sad that this man in front of the world literally is an alcoholic. We can confirm 100% that he is an alcoholic. He has had to remove part of his body because he is an alcoholic and he can't stop. He can't stop. You know, and also, you should know that alcohol is one of the things that can kill you when you try to withdraw. Like, I think it's alcohol and benzos are two of the hardest things to come off of when you quit. And a lot of times when you're a severe alcoholic, you have to be monitored by medical staff because it is literally, when you withdraw from alcohol, it can literally kill you. So we could, you know, Bert Kreischer, whichever route he goes, it just looks like he's heading for a short life. And it's just crazy. You know, you still have to take the chance to withdraw and get over it, because at this rate, his body is literally telling him, you're killing me, and he can't stop. And now you want to know how he's an alcoholic? Because he's making so many excuses even after this surgery. And I don't know what to say, man. This is like, I just don't know what to say. It's completely insane that he keeps drinking.
Give you a hint, a lot of it has to do with comparison, but not with people who are better than him. Instead, it's with people Bert might feel he's above, those he sees as being lower on the totem pole.
Can I tell you, I'm always amazed that like when you feel fat and disgusting, and then you're on an airplane and you see someone really fat and disgusting, and then you go, how do you feel? Like, exactly. I'm not as bad as you. I didn't get a seatbelt extender.
You know,
you look disgusting.
The real place where you find kind of your place in society is when you go to like a hotel pool. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so, because at first you're like, I'm a piece of shit. I'm the fucking grossest. And you see a couple like fitness bodies and you're like, oh my God, like that's what we're supposed to look like, this fucking perfect human. Yeah. And then some fucking pig waddles down.
I just want to point out that a lot of times people go, oh, and there's even content creators that I would never make fun of somebody's looks, blah, blah, blah. Let me tell you some truth here. We all make fun of people's looks. We should just stop denying it. I don't know why the internet has become this place where people think they can have moral superiority. We are terrible humans. I think we should just be honest about it, because here, the same people that defend the Rogan sphere, we'll just say the Rogan sphere because that's where it comes from, and will come after me saying, oh, you made fun of his looks. How could you? Okay. Yeah, I get it. Right? Look at these guys making fun of people's looks. Here's the problem. I don't really give a shit what anyone says on the internet, but what really, really bothers me is moral superiority and how humans cannot admit they're full of shit. Because it's like, oh, I don't make fun of his looks. How could you make fun of somebody you don't know? What do you mean? We all do that. And if you go, I don't do that. Have you ever said there was a bad movie? Have you ever said a musician or a band is bad? Have you ever made fun of a teacher you had in school? Have you ever, it's just like, that's what humans do. I just think it's crazy how we're all trying to be moral when in reality, if we opened up your brain, you're saying the exact same things that everybody else is and doing the exact same thing you're trying to criticize. And I know a lot of people don't come on YouTube and make YouTube videos about it, but just because you don't doesn't mean you're any better. We're all fucked up, folks. Get over it.
And like has trouble kicking their slippers off, and you see the rolls just hanging, and you're like, this is the grossest person at the pool. And then you kind of smile, you're like, that person's way grosser than me. And you know exactly your status, because there's always like a couple gorgeous people, and then there's just a few animals that you go like, nice, I'm glad they're here too.
They should make the
I would like to say something about like the airport. I was in the airport the other day, and it was really early in the morning, and we were all waiting for the coffee shop. It was that early. It was like the first flights in the morning. I was going to get one, and we're all waiting in line for the coffee shop. And I saw this person that was huge. And I wasn't thinking about, oh, this person is disgusting. I was thinking about what they were thinking about. And I thought to myself, that person is probably worried about getting on the plane and probably worried of the looks the person they had to sit next to was going to give them. And I was really wondering, like, what was going on in that person's head, like the anxiety, the fear they must have. And I thought it had to be crazy, because I would imagine for that person, the airport is a horrible, horrible place that they only go if absolutely necessary. Because if you are that big, like to where you don't fit in your seat, like just imagine the agony you probably go through from the people. Imagine walking down the aisle of the plane and people looking at you. That's what I was thinking about. Other than that, it just doesn't really matter. Like, why would I compare myself to them? I think it's just kind of crazy how these people are so rich and they're comparing themselves and go, oh, they're so gross. Like, in reality, it really doesn't matter. Making fun of somebody's looks, for me, is what you do in the YouTube comments to troll and to feed the algorithm. Outside of that, like, who cares, But wait, I'm a terrible person. So if you open this up.
There, you know how they have those vacation spots for singles and for swingers?
Yes.
They should make one for couples wanting to feel better about themselves.
Yes.
Where it's just my 600-pound life people.
Yeah. And you go there and
you
you're
go on
like,
vacation there, and they're like, hey, you can go on the zip line. Not everyone else can, but you can.
It's just a vacation place for you. I mean, honestly, if you're around enough gross people, especially at a pool, you will stand up a little straighter. You'll be like, I'm not that bad. I'm actually pretty good.
Now, let me remind you, this is a conversation between two married guys with kids who sound like insecure teenagers that have never shown their bodies outside of a mirror. You'd think that after a certain age, these types of insecurities would fade, and the opinions of others, especially regarding your body, wouldn't carry as much weight, but that's certainly not the case for Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer. And I know both of them work out and try to stay in shape, and I think that's admirable, but the reason someone in their 20s starts working out versus someone in their 50s is usually very different. A 20-year-old is more likely doing it to impress others, while someone in their...
If a 20-year-old man is going to the gym and working out, get it, they do want to stay in shape. But why... okay. But the real reason is they want to get laid. I don't know how many things you do in your 20s all come back to wanting to get laid. But that's just how it is. And you always notice when people get broken up with, they go back to the gym and get in good shape. That's because they want to get laid. And I don't know if you ever, like, really... The opinions of others do start to not matter. It's just like, who cares? We're all stupid. Like, why would I take this person's advice? But I think somewhere deep inside, you're always kind of conscious of your body and trying to keep it healthy. I know it seems that some people aren't, but I think it's more of like wired in your DNA, so you stay healthy. Your body's kind of like always kind of reminds you like, hey, I'm struggling, homie. Go to the gym, run a mile. So I just think, no, I think you always want to get laid as an adult, no matter what age. But I think it becomes less about that as you get older, because in your 20s, you're basically an adult teenager, and you really don't know what's going on.
50s is probably doing it to prolong their life and have more time with their family on this earth. And from the conversation we've heard so far between Bert and Tom, they seem more like the 20-year-olds than the 50-year-olds. Now, let's shift our attention back to our 20-year-old friend Bert Kreischer, because he actually has something very interesting to say. Now, you would think based on how it starts that it might be a moment of self-awareness for him, but let me spoil it for you. It's not self-awareness, it's just disappointing.
Can I tell you, Tom, I know that I don't really read comments, but I know that people say me and you are out of touch and that we've changed. And I would fight that tooth and nail. I am the same Bert you've known since day one when I was doing the Dayton Funny Bone.
Well, I think that might be the problem, Bert. I think the reason so many people are tired of you and your act is because it's been the same act for 20 years. And yes, it was funny in the beginning, but for how long can you keep doing the same thing before it becomes the very reason people start to hate you? Now, with that being
I think about that too. Like, this guy has had to take his shirt off for over 20 years. And I feel like that would get old, right? I think you need to like grow and change. But here's the thing you have to ask yourself. The people that want Bert to take his shirt off and show up to his shows just for him to take his shirt off, you have to really think how dumb they are, right? I mean, it's just crazy. I'm no authority on what the world and what people should think, but I do have an opinion, and I just can't believe how much dumb shit there is in the world that people fall for. And Bert Kreischer is a prime example. Like, he's gotten away with being a complete retard for 20 years, and people still pay for him. Like, that's the bigger thing for me. And I put there up, like, these guys are con men. They're full of shit. They're not good comedians. And that's what makes me so mad. Because if you've ever been ripped off, if you've ever bought a ticket to the show, if you've ever went to the movies, or you saw a band in concert and they completely were full of shit and their act was terrible, it infuriates you, because you have to think of all the hardworking people out there that just lost their money. And that sucks. I think I'm in the phase of my life, you know, they talk about not caring people. You do get to that point, you know. I'm on this YouTube. People go, what about, who fucking cares? Because the point is, when you get to a certain age and you start to tackle your insecurities and you start to overcome the things that once kind of crippled you, made you have sleepless nights, made you worry about what people think, you start to see that all these people on the top are completely full of shit and they're completely phony. And the reason they are at the top is probably because they bought into that phony system or they scammed a lot of people. There's not many people on the top. Look at our government. We just have a massive cover up when months before they were saying that this list, right, was there. And now they're completely lying about it. If you ask me why I don't really give a shit what people think, it's because all these people on the top are lying, and you realize it. And when there's just a bunch of liars and frauds and con men running the show, why would you care? And plus, everybody has problems. Everybody worries about things. Why are you taking somebody else's words? It's like you see it on YouTube and all the time. Oh, you're this, that, and that. Why would I, because you made a comment, or because you said something that doesn't agree with me, I'm supposed to feel bad? No. People, I don't think there's any morals. I don't think there's any guy in the sky that we got to bow down to so we go to a magical fairyland when we die. I don't think that. I just think humans are utterly confused and trying to make the best out of the little time they have on this planet. And frankly, I think it amounts to nothing. Because if it was really something, or there was some great moral code, why are there so many wars and bombs dropping on everybody? Right? It's all just a big game. And we're just trying to claim our little piece of territory.
Being said, Bert goes on to tell a story about his visit to the DMV and how he hasn't been around regular people in a very long time. He talks about how tough their existence is, but in classic Bert fashion, he turns the story into something all about himself and how he sees himself as being above those people.
And then the other day, I went to the DMV and I realized I have not been around these people in a very long time.
Different, huh?
I am out of touch. That is America. That is shut down the 101 and throw a brick at a cop America. That is not who I see on a daily basis. I am the healthiest person in this room. I've showered the most in this room.
Yeah.
I've brushed my teeth the most in this room.
Yeah.
The DMV is fucking scary, Tom.
It kind of boosted you up. I went last year, and it's, it's just sitting there waiting for your number to get called, and you're just looking around that room. It's the bottom of the barrel, dude.
Do you hear that? Tom Segura thinks normal, everyday people is the bottom of the barrel. It's just crazy. I always tell you that these guys live in a world where they don't have to deal with anything. They don't have to deal with real life. They get catered to. People are hired to do their every wish. And it's just crazy. Like the DMV, yeah, I get it. Some DMVs are bad, but I don't think they're going to the real DMV. They're probably going to an express DMV or stuff. But even so, it's just average people. I had to go to the DMV a couple years ago with my girlfriend so she could get another license. And it wasn't that big a deal. It's like everybody drives a car, so everybody's had to go to the DMV. So everybody that goes to the DMV is the bottom of the barrel. That's what you're literally saying, because most people have to drive cars unless you live in a city like New York or I think Philadelphia, in Portland, where they have great transit systems. I just don't understand the bottom of the barrel. But then again, I think Kill Tony fans are the bottom of the barrel. So who am I to say anything, right?
It's rough.
That's America, Tom.
Yeah, it is.
Like
that's most.
You go to our shows. Our shows are cultured, high end, top level of the Titanic Americans. I mean,
all right, I don't think anyone with a normally functioning brain would agree with that statement.
The man that takes his shirt off and shows his disgusting body to people for money is top tier cultured, right? This is just beyond delusional, right? This is beyond. Bert Kreischer is a lucky guy because a lot of that bottom of the barrel are your fans.
World would call a Bert Kreischer fan cultured. I think the only thing a Bert fan could be considered cultured is in alcohol consumption, certainly not comedy.
If you're listening to this right now, you are fucking killing it in life.
Just if you're listening.
If you're listening, if you're watching this, you might be, touch and go. If you're listening to this, you are a 1%er, in my opinion.
I like that. It feels good.
Yeah.
You know what? Even if you're not, just tell yourself you are. You're a 1%er.
And if right now you're going, no, Bert, I'm having a rough day. I feel like I'm overweight. Maybe I'm not achieving everything. Go to the DMV.
Yeah.
And look around and go, wow, you know what? I am fucking killing it.
It's not that bad. That's what you leave there thinking. It's not that bad what I've got going on.
I got a DMV appointment and I was like, nice. Cause I always try to like make sure that I'm grounded in life, I was like, nice. I got a DMV appointment. I'm going to the DMV. I'm just fucking, hey, if Tom Cruise goes to the DMV, I go to the DMV. And the second I got there, I was like, how did I pay to get out of this?
I mean, how do you manage to say the word grounded and then right after that compare yourself to Tom Cruise? You couldn't make this shit up even if you tried. The delusion in this guy is as real as his failed career. Imagine your only point of reference when talking about the DMV is one of the most famous actors in the world, and not the thousands of regular people who have to go through it every day.
Yeah,
how much do I need to pay?
There's like a backdoor situation there.
I got offered it and I didn't take it.
You didn't take it?
I didn't take it because I was like, you know what? Not like cancel culture shit of like if people found out.
Yeah.
But I was like, I think that's when I'm no longer in touch.
Yeah.
Is when and let me tell you something. So we're clear. I did all the steps to take it.
Yeah.
And then
the bailed?
I got there, I was like, I'm not doing this.
Really?
Oh yeah.
You bailed?
I bailed.
And then now you're going to do the celebrity way?
No, I fucking did it. I had to just get my license renewed, and now I got to go back and I could have done the fucking, and now I got to go back and do in November and get my license renewed because I didn't do the celebrity way.
Right, so poor Bert couldn't even finish his DMV visit without bailing out. Turns out the pores, as Tom likes to call them, were a little bit too much for Bert to handle. And what can I say, what a tough life he must have. Imagine having to go to the DMV to get your license renewed and not having someone to do it for you.
Yeah,
It's just crazy. You know, these guys always brag about the celebrity way and stuff. Look at Tom Segura. He's taken Ozempic. He has a personal fitness trainer, and he's still chubby. You could see his man boobs. You could see his double chin. And then you look at Bert Kreischer, and he does the celebrity way, and he does things, and he's an alcoholic. He's overweight, and allegedly he has an incredibly small wiener. So you could see why these guys, even with the celebrity way, they still have to feed their ego because they don't amount up to anything, even after all that celebrity treatment. They still look like those guys they're claiming to be the bottom of the barrel at the DMV. If these guys weren't celebrities, these guys would be the guys they're talking about. I just find it so funny that Tom Segura has had every kind of fitness thing that money can buy. And you could see, if you look right below the microphone, you could see his man boob. And if you look right to the left of the microphone here, you could see his double chin. I just think it's really hypocritical. I think it's really hypocritical that they make fun of people and disgusting. Have you seen that photo of Bert Kreischer throwing a baseball? I just think these guys are hypocrites and they're con men. And I think it's really wrong of them to come and just trash, not just on one person, not just on somebody they don't like, not just for fun or for a YouTube video, but to literally shit on everybody else that's not a celebrity. Have you seen some of these celebrities? They're not that great either. Just look at Jelly Roll. Come on now. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments. Peace!